What's up, guys? Woo, what a morning it has been. Insanity, to say the least. Obviously, the big surprise of the morning, Patrick Mahomes dealing with the flu, and Diana Rossini of ESPN, she reported will play today against the Denver Broncos, the team that he does own. This is definitely a surprise. Obviously, this changes a lot of things for today's game, which sucks because I already bet the over on Patrick Mahomes rushing yards. I don't think this is a guy who's going to be running the ball much today. But I think there's a lot of optimism still. Listen, I'll just say it right now. I'm not here for excuses. You guys know me. I don't make excuses. I never do. I'm not Bengals. I'm not a Bengals fan. I'm not a Raiders fan. Not a Broncos fan. None of that shit. Miss me with all of that. I've always believed that if you are playing, then I think a lot is going to be expected out of you. If you're at a position where you absolutely cannot play, then don't play. Patrick Mahomes is not like that, though. Okay? This guy, let me just give all of you a reminder, because listen, let's be honest, a lot of people probably won't say it publicly, although I've seen it from a few Broncos fans already. There are a lot of people who are probably glad this is happening, because anything that could go against Kansas City, people will take. And listen, I've always said you can't ever apologize for another team's injury or illness. I mean, you can't. You can only control what you can't control. But Patrick Mahomes is going to play through this. And this tells you a lot about the guy. The same guy who last year in the playoffs got injured against the Jaguars. You guys saw the ankle injury. The guy was hobbling around. He was refusing to get off the field. The guy wanted to stay in the game. And you saw what happened in the Super Bowl. He gets hurt right before halftime. He comes back. He re-injures that ankle. And what does he do? He completes more than 90% of his passes after that injury, and he goes on to lead the Chiefs on a touchdown drive every single drive except for the last one. They could have easily scored on the last one. They were already moving the football. The Eagles, in the very end, they were letting them score, but the Chiefs obviously played that smart. So he essentially led the Chiefs to a touchdown drive every single game the rest of the way and led them to a win. Oh, and by the way, he won Super Bowl MVP. So this is not a guy that's going to quit just because he has the flu. And listen, I'll give this guy credit, okay? I mean, you're about to play in the first snow game of the year. There's all this talk about the amount of snow going on and whatnot. Listen, I'm not even a football player. I'm just a fan, okay? You could not pay me to sit through a cold weather game. This is why a lot of you guys always ask, like, why do you not go to football games often? The comfort of my own home, baby. You guys have seen the fan cave or a man cave, whatever you want to call it. So you guys know one reason why. The colder it gets, man, I am not. Props to Chiefs fans who tailgate and through the cold for several hours. I don't do that shit. All right. That's why I've always said Chiefs fans are the best fans in the NFL. They go through all of that. No matter, how cold, how hot it is. And you guys know how hot it can get here, especially early on in the season, and how cold it can get later in the season. All right. Chiefs fans show up. They do it right. 100%. Now think of that as a football player with the flu. That's what Patrick Mahomes is going to be doing today. This is a guy who just, again, does not quit, doesn't roll over for even the biggest injury. Okay. I still remember the knee injury in 2019, the year the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, and everyone was panicking, thinking this could be a season-ending injury. It was just a quarterback sneak. It's not like anything terrible happened, but still, a lot of people were holding their breath the day of the MRI, the morning of. I still remember that. And we saw the rest of the season, what he did. In fact, I think when he came back, the Chiefs did lose that weird game to the Titans. After that, they didn't lose a single game the rest of the year. They won the Super Bowl that year. You look at what they did last year, again, in the postseason, going through all of those things. Mahomes he already had the two worst offensive tackles in football last year. He lost 3 receivers in the AFC Championship game and was playing through a bum ankle and still beat the Cincinnati Bengals in the AFC Championship game. So, I mean, this guy just doesn't roll over and quit. This is a guy that's always going to give you more than 100%. I mean, listen, I know we talk a lot about certain players and their toughness and whatnot. Is there a player that is more dedicated and more tough than Patrick Mahomes? I mean, this guy just, I'm always impressed with this guy. And people always make fun of Chiefs fans. Oh, you guys treat him like he's the Messiah. Well, yeah, when this guy comes through, look at Kansas City's playoff record before Mahomes. It was 9-18. With Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs, since they've been playing Patrick Mahomes, they have a playoff record of 11-3 and 2 Super Bowl wins included in that, and another appearance too, mind you. Oh, by the way, speaking of that Super Bowl appearance where the Chiefs did not win, remember what Mahomes was doing in that one with no all backup offensive linemen? He was still going out there making defenders miss and was hitting receivers in the end zone. It wasn't his fault he was dropping the ball. So, yeah, of course, Chiefs fans are going to highly praise Patrick Mahomes because this guy has turned around the franchise in the biggest way. I mean, the guy just is he? Tommy says it in the chat. Mahomes is a warrior, 100%. For all of those years where we have cried and complained that the Chiefs were not drafting a quarterback. I still remember really wanting Matthew Stafford. I mean, there were a lot of guys I've wanted over the years that the Chiefs passed on. This was worth the wait. And I'll tell you what, for today's game, I'm not freaking out. Would I prefer a massive first half blowout so he can rest the second half? Yeah. And as a matter of fact, if you're up like 35-0, put him on the first flight back to Kansas City, prep him up because the whole travel plan for the upcoming week against the Dolphins in Germany, that's going to be a shit show with this. I'm more concerned about how the Chiefs try to handle all that right there. Because listen, if you're going to play this game with the flu, yeah, I am a little concerned about long-lasting impact for the rest of the week, that is, because of the way the Chiefs are traveling internationally, getting ready for that game. So I'm not going to hide from that, but I'm also not a doctor. I'm sure these guys have better care than any of us do. Like if someone gets the flu or the cold on a Saturday, man, you got to wait till Monday to get any kind of help. And maybe then you get a little lucky if you were able to find someone that you can go to. These guys get immediate care within moments' notice. So I'm not too concerned about any of this. As far as the rest of the game goes, okay, to me, this is a team in the Denver Broncos that has not been playing well this season. Now, let me go over Russell Wilson for a moment because you look at the way he's been playing. I know in terms of passing yards, like statistically speaking, he has had he's been pretty good. He has, where is it? Almost 15. He's 1 yard away from 1,500 yards, 13 touchdowns, 4 picks. But look at the last 2 games. Okay. Russell Wilson against the Packers last week threw for 194 yards. Not very good, especially for a guy that a lot was expected from him. And they gave up a lot to get him, and they're paying him a lot. The week before that, against Kansas City on Thursday Night Football, 95 yards, held to 13 completions in that one. Had 1 touchdown and 2 picks. So hypothetically speaking, I know we're told that Mahomes is going to play, but let's just say Mahomes doesn't play. I have full confidence that the Chiefs defense will do anything and everything to limit Russell Wilson in this game. He's not playing very well the last couple of weeks. In the Chiefs defense, I mean, you have 11 starters out there who are monsters. And then you've got a few guys who come in rotation, especially guys like Mike Edwards, who's been playing very well this year. Charles Omenihu, who just came back from his suspension, he's already looking good. FAU, who's been coming in rotation, playing very well. I mean, you've got some killers on this Kansas City Chiefs defense. So this is already a bad matchup when you look at the Chiefs defense against the Broncos offense from a Broncos side of things. It's a great matchup from the Chiefs side of things. So if Mahomes doesn't play, or if he has to get pulled very early in this one, I still have a lot of confidence that the Chiefs defense will hold the Broncos to 10 points. I said 28-10. That's my score prediction. I'm going to stick with it. My only concern is this. If the Chiefs have to pull Mahomes out of the game and put in Blaine Gabbert, he has not looked very good so far since becoming a Chief. So my concern is if Blaine Gabbert commits turnovers when the Chiefs are backed up in their own, close to their own end zone, that's what would concern me the most, because then you'd be gifting Denver some points in that one. And then this could be an interesting game, more interesting than a lot of people probably expected. So if for whatever reason the Chiefs have to pull Mahomes early in this one, Man, you gotta use your running backs. I've said for a long time, I love the abilities of Isaiah Pacheco and Jerick McKinnon. We haven't seen Jerick McKinnon run the ball a whole lot. We see him more through the passing game. I think, if you have to pull Mahomes, this is going to be a game where, if you're going to pass, your target's going to be Kelsey, and I think he can make some things happen, but you would have to run heavy in this one. And I think Isaiah Pacheco and Jerick McKinnon can absolutely help carry that. And listen, you have McCole Hardman back. You can definitely do some trick plays where you have him running the football or do a jet sweep. Same with Kadarius Toney. I know Kadarius Toney has not been very good this year, but you can still do some things and try to use his speed to your advantage. I don't think the Chiefs have used Kadarius Toney well. I don't think that's an excuse for his poor play this year. But I think the Chiefs, this would be that game. And I know Andy Reid has these plays in the playbook. The guy's been coaching forever. I know for a fact this guy has a thick playbook, and he's got a lot of things ready to use probably during a time like this. We were already anticipating probably a run-heavy game because of the weather. Now, probably even more so because you have Mahomes, who we don't know what his availability is going to be like. We're told he's going to play. But in the event that, you have to pull Mahomes, I think you got to go run heavy in this one. And you can probably pull some trick plays that might work with your speedsters at wide receiver. You've got a couple of them who can do that kind of thing. So I am very curious to see how that goes. Obviously, a big surprise. 2 hours ago, everything was just dandy. And now we've got a lot to see. If Mahomes goes out there and just has a monster game, I mean, man, this would really piss off all those Chiefs haters out there. I would love to see that happen. I don't know if I anticipate that. I'm still going to stick to my score prediction, 28-10. All right, guys. My name is Farzi Vasugi, and the NFL games are about to get underway, so I'm going to get out of here. Enjoy the games. You guys take care of yourselves, and we will talk at halftime. I'll be doing a halftime live stream, and we'll do our post-game live podcast as well. So join me for that. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Take care.